getting lucky. I don't break hearts. I just tear them from rib cages. The height of their happiness is the depth of their pain.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm gonna show you how to play Evelynn today. Now, if you're looking for an AP assassin to play in the jungle, then this is a champion that I can highly recommend. So we're gonna start off with a Q here, hit spike. The first Q is going to be a skill shot, and it's really important that you hit the big monsters with it because it's going to empower the next three auto attacks or abilities. So use the Q first, and then you can recast it 3 times. So we win the auto attacks when you clear out the camps. Really important in the early game. And then you take your E here, so that's like an empowered E. And if you're in your passive, then that E is also going to be a leap. So obviously you also want to use that for clearing. Just kite the camps towards the next one. Almost finish off the Grump. And then we're gonna move towards the wolves. Really important that you hit the big monster with the initial Q, because when it marks them, it's going to deal bonus damage. So I trolled a couple times here at the wolves. That is going to slow down my clear because you want to focus down the big one, but I accidentally hit the small wolf, so it slows the clear a little bit, but it doesn't hurt too much. And then you kite them towards the raptors or the chickens. And then you hit the big raptor with the Q once again. And then use the E, so you leap toward the big raptor. And that's what happens when you're in your passive. And then just kite this one towards the red buff. And then the same thing. I put 2 points into my Q instead of W for like a better clear. But you really need your W when you want to gank. But you're gonna get this with a full clear anyways. Just kite around and make sure that you also weave in the auto attacks. Just like this, and then we're gonna move towards the Crux. And as I said, you're gonna smite this one, like you smited the Grump. Make sure to E it, and then remember to smite. And then you want to make sure that the hate spike here, the Q, hits all the monsters, okay? That's really important because it's AoE damage. But I did the wolves a bit slow, so it slowed up the clear, but it was still pretty decent. And of course you can do this a lot faster as you practice it. And then your W, putting the mark, as you can see right here on the Mundo. And if you let it fully form, guys, then your next damage onto the enemy champion is going to charm them. So when you gank, it's really important that you have this W up, otherwise it's going to be really difficult. Now it does not only charm them, also shred some of the magic resistance, so that's also really OP. And on monsters it also makes it so you deal bonus damage, so this one really helps you out later on, but it's especially important for when you gank. So if you don't have it, then it's going to be really difficult to pull off a gank. We did a full clear into a gank, and we got the Skull Crab going ahead and resetting. And then you can get the Sorc shoes. I just want to get the Dark Seal and tier 1 boots and an Amp Tome. That's also really good. So on Evelynn, you want the W for ganking, but I do prefer to get level 6 first before I really start ganking, because that unlocks like one of the most OP kits in the game, and that is perma stealth. That is really OP because normal wards do not detect it, and people do not respect ganks in solo queue. So if you have permanent stealth, it's a lot easier to pull off ganks. We're just gonna keep clearing here, so you can get level 6 as fast as possible. And then you can use your W, but be careful that you do not use it until the mark is fully formed, because then you don't get that bonus effects off. So let it fully form, so get that bonus damage before triggering it. Or when you trigger it, I mean. Just keep clearing, that's all we care about right now. Sometimes you can pull off early ganks like I did earlier, if there's a really easy gank. If the opponent is overextended, then it's pretty free, right? Then you can go for the gank. But otherwise you just want to get level 6 as fast as possible. Just clearing out another full clear. Now the ultimate is what makes Evelynn really OP. So Demon Shade, the passive here, guys, is that when you get the like when the passive is activated, then you get a lot of like HP back, right? So it gives Evelynn a lot of passive sustain, so you don't need to like opt into sustain runes. So when you're really low HP, you're gonna heal up passively with that passive, and then that passive is also going to make it so when you hit level 6, then you're going to be stealthed. But this is going to break like if you initiate combat or if somebody damages you or something, then the stealth is going to break. But this is really OP for ganking. So now we just need one more camp and it is showtime. You can see because we prioritize farming all this time, we are far ahead of the Amumu, and we're gonna take away the Skull Crab right here. So let the W mark fully form, because that's going to remove the shield from the Skull Crab, so it's really easy to take it down. Now we hit level 6, so now we're going to into stealth. Whenever that passive is ready, means that we go into stealth. Also, every single time you go into this passive, then your E is going to become empowered. And empowered E means that when you use that E on something, you're going to leap. So if you have that sudden impact, or whatever that rune is called in the domination tree, you're going to get benefit from that pen. And when you use that ultimate, guys, it's going to be like a execute, meaning that it deals bonus damage to low HP targets, and then it also makes it so you like become untargetable and sort of like dash to a different spot. So it can be used as mobility, it can be used for damage, but it can also be used to like dodge incoming damage. But it's not quite like real untargetability, it's more like a dash, but it's still really OP because you can use it to damage somebody, you can use it to like dodge incoming damage, and then you can also use it for mobility because like you can use this dash to like jump over walls with. So when you gank from those 6, flank people, get in from the behind, because when you proc that W on them, they can see it charging up. And when that happens, they're gonna be moving backwards towards the tower. So you want them to like run towards you. That's why you want to like stay behind them and then use the W. Also, when you use it on an enemy champion, when that W mark is fully formed, like at the end, there's going to be like an arrow pointing towards where you are at. Like it's going to show the direction you are towards, so they can see it that way. So you see, pay attention to how you gank the Yasuo right behind them, so I cut off his escape path, and that way, even if he had a flash up or something, he would still end up dying. You don't always need that W to fully form though. Like if you're really fed and you can easily kill the opponent without the charm, then just like press W on them, and then you can immediately damage them afterwards, because then you will still get the slow. You'll not get the charm, but you still get the slow. So it is an assassin, meaning that obviously you want to be snowballing early game. Early game, in this case, does not mean before level 6, but after, when you have the ultimate up, and when you have that permanent stealth. Make sure that you gank a lot, but also make sure that you clear camps in between. So if you're going for top lane, take out your top side camps and then go for a gank. Weaving in the auto attacks when clearing camps is especially important in the early game, but like later on in the game, when you're in the mid game and you have a couple items, it doesn't really matter because you're gonna insta clear the camps anyways. We are in stealth once again. You can see flanking in behind, and then use the W here. He's gonna be moving in a way that we still get a guaranteed hit. So if possible, I like to save my ultimate if I don't need it, because then I can use this for another gank. But we got the kill here, so that's really nice, and then we can go ahead and reset, sitting on a lot of gold. So this means that because we're sitting on so much gold, we can get the rocket belt on the recall here, but normally you get the Sorc shoes and then you start building towards the rocket belt. But in this case, I had enough gold to just straight up buying it, so that's obviously a lot better to do so. So if you can, then do that as well. But it's not all the time you can do that. Most of the time you just end up getting Sorc shoes. You can also do a lane gank, just like this here, because you are stealthed. So this circle you see around you, if people are in this circle, then they can see you. Because this is not true invisibility, this is stealth. So if people are close, they can see you. See, pulling off a really good gank. That's why I'm telling you guys, it's really important that you flank, get in from behind. That's something you always want to do on assassins, but it is especially important on Evelynn. Because when you pop that W on them, they can see, they know that you're going to gank. They will be running towards the tower, but you have to stand right behind them, so they end up running into you, and there's going to be a guaranteed charm into pretty much a guaranteed kill, or at least a guaranteed summoner. And that play allowed us to take a free dragon as well. So I also focused down the objectives, that's really important. So when you get a kill, if you can take down the dragon or the Rift Herald, then of course go for that. Just making sure that we still farm up. Darksteel is something you buy very often on Evelynn because it's an assassin. So you are aiming to snowball really hard. And even if you don't get it stacked, you don't have to upgrade to the Midas. You can just sell it later on. Or you can sit on the Darksteel even if you don't get any stacks, and then maybe you get some later and then you can upgrade. So it's always good to have at the start of the game. Trying to go for another flank here. This time he saw us, so not going to work out. But you can see how annoying it is when people constantly have to buy control wards, because normal wards are not going to help against you. That's also why I don't like to get the sweeper on Evelynn, because you can get past all the normal wards, so you don't really care about having the sweeper, because people need the control wards in order to like counter your ganks, and that's gonna end up costing a lot of gold if they have to keep buying it. Just back to clearing here, we got the kill on the Mundo. Remember, you always want your W up when you gank, and you want to be flanking. That's what's really important, because that's stealth. Remember to play around the stealth range, so if you can see when you are in that stealth passive, that circle that's going to appear. Make sure that the enemy champions are not within that circle, because then they can see you. So I constantly kite around and try to find a way to like get around them. There'll also be like an indicator showing if they can see you, so you can also use that. So Yasuo wasted his ignite, so that's of course really good. Great. So if you want to counter Evelynn, of course control wards, like you can see right now. Or you also need to ward her jungle camps, because that's the only way that you can actually spot her. So if you see her top side after level 6, then it's pretty clear that she's going to be ganking either top or mid. So that way you will at least know where she's going to gank. And then you can like prepare it and set up for counter gank. Sitting on a lot of gold once again, picking up kills here and there. I'm telling you guys, Evelynn is really OP in solo queue because people do not respect ganks. They don't ward properly, and even if they do against the Evelynn, it's not going to help because you have stealth. And that is so hard to play around in solo queue. That's why it has been nerfed on so many champions. Permanent stealth is so difficult to play around, even in the highest elos. So if you want some free LP, then this is a champion I can highly recommend to pick up in the jungle if you are at the same time looking for an AP assassin. Got another point into that ultimate. Remember, your ultimate is like an execute, so the lower HP the target is, I think it was around 30%, then it deals the full damage. So, if possible, wait using that ultimate until you get everything else off, like all the rest of your damage, and then use that ultimate as an execute, and it's going to hit like a truck. Like, the burst damage is absolutely insane. Now Mundo does have that passive that's going to block out the CC, so he's not going to get jumped unless that's down. A little bit unfortunate. I did not expect him to have everything up here, but that's fine. We got the ultimate down. So that should lower his skill potential, and then we just head back to farming. Always remember to farm, even if you're really fed, because if you don't farm, you're giving the opponents an opportunity to catch back up XP wise. So I'm sitting on a lot of gold once again, so I really want to make sure that I use as much of it. So I opted for the Medjay Soul Stealer because I'm fed, I can easily get it stacked up. And then I also went for Large Rod instead of the Sock Shoes because I had a lot of gold, so I wanted to use as much as possible. Normally you would have Sock Shoes as the first item, but I was sitting on a lot of gold every single time I base, so I just wanted to use as much as possible of it. Because the next item is going to be the Death Cap. That's like the biggest AP spike you can get, which is really great on Evelynn. And then you also have some magic pen on the W, guys. So Void Staff is not as important to get super early on. Normally you get it after the Death Cap, so you get Sock Shoes, Rocket Belt, Death Cap, and then Void Staff. And then if you are really fed or snowballing early game, you can also get the Medjay Soul Stealer early on. So the Mundo is being really annoying. It's really difficult to deal with somebody who is split pushing a lot, especially when you get to the point where you just have Hull Breaker. Really annoying. And this guy is building towards it, as you can see in his items. But luckily we managed to take this guy down, otherwise he's just going to take down our tower over and over. Really annoying to deal with the split pushers if your teammates don't know how to deal with it. People are getting caught everywhere. That is solo queue, that's going to happen all the time, obviously. You can't really count on your teammates, but that's why Evelynn is like a really good solo carry champion. Like, you have super high solo carry potential. And the clears are also pretty easy compared to a lot of other champions. You just have to make sure that the initial Q hit the big, what's it called, the big monster. So get that bonus damage off of them. I trolled with the Raptors, that's why the clear was slowed down a little bit, but it was still pretty fast. You can see that HP regen we're getting in their passive is absolutely nuts. Going for another kill on the Lux right here, but because we have all of that HP regen in their passive, we don't need any sustain. Still not getting the Sock Shoes because I just want the Death Cap ASAP. We're playing against two tanks, so we will need the Death Cap and then we also need a Void Staff later on, because otherwise we will not be able to deal with them. This Mundo is just AFK split pushing, and that's like one of the most annoying playstyles in solo queue if your teammates don't know how to match it. So what you can do is that you can just send multiple people to collapse, kill the split pusher, and then you can try to find kills on the rest of the teammates. Your ultimate is also AoE, keep that in mind. It's not single target damage, so if you can hit like multiple people at once, that's going to be insane, because the burst damage is absolutely ridiculous, especially if they're low HP. The key thing here, guys, is that you always want to take the blue smite on Evelynn. The reason for that is that any other damaging ability that you have in your kit will proc the W, but your smite will not. So to get it really easy, like fully mark W off on the enemy champion, you press the W on them first and then you smite them, because it's not going to remove the W proc. That's why you always want to go for the blue smite on Evelynn, not the red one, because the blue one slows people and it does not mess up the W. So always make sure that you take the W and the blue smite in combination when you gank. Took down the Yasuo, easy peasy, and then we should be able to deal with the Mundo as well. But he is going to be really difficult later on, because he's going to be really tanky, and that is something Evelynn does not like playing against. She is an assassin, and assassin wants to play against squishy targets, so if they don't have any squishy targets on that team, then do not pick Evelynn, because you're going to have a really hard time. But if you play against squishy targets, then it's going to be really fun, because you just one-shot them, pretty much. We need people to defend topside against the Mundo, because this guy just keeps AFK pushing, and that is so difficult to deal with, especially when they get the Hull Breaker. So my top laner did not move for it, so I had to be the one doing so. You can see I immediately popped the W mark here just to get the slow off, because I had enough damage, so it did not matter that I did not wait for the W to fully form. So if you do have enough damage and you can easily finish off the target, then do not wait for the W to fully form, because that's going to give people time to react. So the Amumu for some reason has the Everfrost. Now that Mythic item is really OP, so it's not really troll, but at the same time it's going to be super squishy. I actually trolled big time right here. I did not have to die because I had the ultimate up and the flash up, but I was being a bit too greedy. I tried to find a way where I could get the kill on the MF and the Amumu, but it ended up me dying and giving away a massive shutdown. So obviously do not go for that. You only want to take risks when you are behind. When you are ahead, you never want to do so, because you have a massive bounty, and that's going to make it so you give the opponent a easier chance to get back into the game. So definitely avoid doing that and do not troll like I did right now. Going for another play on the backline carries. I saw that MF just got popped. And also the Yasuo taken down. You see, AD carries, when you have the Rabadons and these items, the AD carry is just going to get popped in a single combo. You don't need the ultimate most of the time. The ultimate is just to make sure that you still get the kill. If they have flash or something else up, like a heal, exhaust or something, then you have that ultimate for extra safety. It's like a kill, it's like an ability that guarantees the kill, but also guarantees your escape. You see, I used W and then I smited him, because that is not going to mess up the W in any way. So that's a really OP combo, guys. That's why I'm telling you guys always to go for the blue smite, never the red smite. You never need it on Evelynn. Always the blue one, because of the synergy with your W. It guarantees that the opponent is going to be slowed and within range of you until your W is fully formed, and then you can proc it. And the good thing here is that also the W mark is also going to refund the mana, so even if you spam it, it's not going to make you go out of mana immediately. There's an X mark on the opponent when they're low HP. That basically means that when you see that X mark, that means that's the point where your ultimate deals the full damage. So that's when they are at 30% HP. So you don't need to calculate, you can also just look at the X mark and know that is the point where your ultimate is going to deal the highest possible damage. Just look at that HP regen we're getting right now. It's absolutely nuts. So even if you're low HP, you don't have to recoil. You can just wait in your passive to be full HP and then bam, you are in the fight once again. Just look at that absolutely ridiculous burst damage. Obviously I'm really fit right now, but if you have these items and the AD carry has their items without being far behind, you're still going to pull this off. Sitting on a ton of gold once again. Gonna go for the Void Staff. That's something you almost always get at this point in the game. So you get Sock Shoes, you get Rocket Belt, and then Mage-Eyes if you're really fit. Otherwise you get the Death Cap, and then you get the Void Staff. That's what you do in like 95% of the games, so you don't really have to worry about the itemization. And then we're gonna get the Banshees in this game because it's really good. It's going to cancel out the Lux Q, so it makes it really hard for people to like peel their teammates. Zhonya's Hourglass is something you don't really buy that often on Evelynn because it's not really needed. You have the ultimate to get out with, so you already have that built-in safety. But Zhonya's Hourglass is something you can build if you're playing against a lot of AD assassins, AD champions, because then you can make use of the armor, but then the stasis also comes in handy. Finishing off the Mundo, so make sure that he does not mess with the AD carry. And then you can see that W, or not the W, but like the instant burst damage. It's really fun to play AP assassins when you're ahead, but not as fun when you're behind, because then this champion becomes super useless. So you have to make sure that you're able to find leads for yourself. I greeted once again, dying for no reason. I wanted to go for the double kill. So I do end up getting punished a lot for it. As I said, be really careful when you're ahead. You only want to take risks when you're behind, not when you are ahead. We just want enough gold for the Banshees and then we are sitting at full gold. So most of the time you will be going for the Banshees because people will have some kind of CC where they can peel the AD carry. Like the support, for example, like if they have a Lulu on their team, they're going to like W polymorph you, and that Banshee as well is going to make it so it's really difficult for them to like pull that off before you burst down the AD carry. Right here, it's really good against the Lux. Because she'll not be able to instantly Q you, she has to take out the shield first and then she can Q you. So most of the time this is the item that you'll be building instead of the Zhonya's Hourglass. Flanking behind, because I want to go for the squishy target, and that's going to be the AD carry. That way we also cancel out the MF ultimate. That is your goal as an assassin. You want to go for the backline. So my teammates play this fight really well. And I somehow survived with 1 HP, so that's cool. And then we can just watch that passive heal me back up to full. Just look at how fast I regen that HP. So somehow my bot lane died, so that means that we probably will not be able to end the game, which blows a bit. But people are going to greet, even I greeted this game, so can't really blame them. Just taking a quick kill on the MF and then we'll peace out, because we don't want to deal with this Mundo just yet. We don't want the risk having the on dying, so we're just gonna kite him like this. Because when his ultimate is up, then he's pretty difficult to burst down. when his ultimate is up and also when his passive is up. We just camp in the bush like this. Just the moment you press W on somebody, you're going to like force them to back off. So it can also, even if you cannot reach the target, it can also be used to like turn people away from a fight. Because when you W someone, they know they will be targeted, so they're just gonna back off. Now we got the Banshee as well, so we are full build, which rarely happens in this meta, but still really fun to play like this super late game. So just need one good fight and then we can go ahead and end the game, because like we took down the entire mid side. And that Amumu just went down. We don't have to do the Baron right now, we just have to go for the end. Not sure why my teammates are hitting the Baron. We just want to go straight for the end, because they don't have any towers left in the mid lane, so we can just go ahead and end it. And you can see, if you hit multiple squishy targets with a full combo or an ultimate, they're going to get popped. And that was how to play Evelynn, so I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching and see you all next time.